What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister Dior.
What's up?
My brother Derek.
What's up?
And our friend Dan.
What's going on?
And this week, we are going to be talking about Secret Invasion.
Ooh.
The show on Disney Plus just had its season finale. I still feel like they need more than 6 episodes. What's up with their 6-episode thing?
They did, because this show could have been more fleshed out if it was more than 6 episodes.
Yeah. But we're going to break down our thoughts on the show and see if it's worth a watch. First, obviously, this is not like the Secret Invasion story in the comics. I haven't really read it, but we know there are a lot of differences between this and that, which is to be expected. This is more of a story following Nick Fury.
Yes.
I guess the show could have been called Fury.
Might have been better if it was.
Yeah, would people be less upset if we called the show Fury and not Secret Invasion?
Yes.
I think they would have been more upset because they would have been like,
This is
Secret Invasion.
No.
Why you didn't call it Secret Invasion?
No, because I think the one thing the show lacks is the element of surprise.
Yes.
Just I mean, isn't the whole point of the Secret Invasion comic books is not knowing which hero you can trust?
Yeah.
And in this one, they got to the point pretty quickly that the only person you could trust was Nick Fury.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I did think in the beginning of the show, there was a very good element of, especially with Nick Fury, it was like, okay, who can Nick Fury go to and trust? It did kind of lose that towards the back end because we were like, we know Rhodey's a Skrull.
And that was it.
Yeah. And only Rhodey, yeah.
Yeah, like, why do I care about random, UN people or whoever that, like, I don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been better if Maria Hill turned out to be a Skrull or something.
Which would have been cool. They did take some risks. We mentioned on our review of the first episode, so they killed Maria Hill.
Yeah.
They killed Talos in
Which
this.
also ended up being a problem.
Yeah.
Because you killed all of his allies now. And then you had, what's her name, Sonya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, they didn't really add anyone else that I fully, like, it'd have been great if someone from Saber or something had came, someone else, just someone like, can I trust this person or something? So I think that whole element in there, that element that I guess was, I haven't read the comic, I'm going to be honest. But I think but I did see the cartoon episodes. And, like, that reveal
that Captain America
was a Skrull. You're like, well, what the heck?
How long has he been there?
Yeah, and then, throughout the series, you're like, that's not really Captain America, but no one else knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was missing
nice
that. It would have been nice if they had more of that suspense element where you didn't know who to trust.
Yeah. And I know they were going to use, like, all of the heroes. Obviously, you don't have the budget for...
Yeah, I was about to say the
But
budget.
you didn't need it.
But there are a lot of minor characters we could have used, in this. We already mentioned Maria Hill. Agent 13.
Yeah,
13. Is it 13?
It is 13. Sharon Carter.
That could have been a good...
wow.
We already saw her doing shady dealings and stuff in the Captain America and Winter Soldier show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely needed more S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the show. Since we couldn't have the heroes, we definitely needed more, like you said, like her. That's what I was thinking of. Someone like her to be, because otherwise it's just, there's no one else.
Instead of killing Martin Freeman's doppelganger Skrull in the beginning, we could have had him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out he's a Skrull.
Yeah.
I think it was more of that, and that's I think at the beginning of the show it made it interesting because it was like, oh wow, he was a Skrull. I didn't expect it to be that. Yeah. Oh, it was Talos chasing him. I didn't expect it to be that. And you needed more of that throughout the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely. But I still think they did put out an interesting story. We got Nick Fury fleshed out a bit more. Which I was invested in. I do want to say, despite them not really capitalizing on the use of Skrulls in this show, I still would say that this is one of the first Marvel shows in a while where I was interested in what was going to happen in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. I was.
Week to week.
Yeah.
Because the last few, and I'll also say it's the first Marvel show in a while where I was invested in the episode throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
The last few shows, we're not going to mention the most recent one. That was just trash all along. But the last couple of shows, Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight, I felt like I was interested in the beginning of the episode and the end of the episode. and then it just felt like it dragged in the middle, and I didn't have that with this show.
Yeah, I agree. I never felt bored watching it, despite the problems that the show did have. This is definitely a show more about Nick Fury than anything. I think one of my things is, do we ever really answer the question about why he left? And I don't think we ever got a solid answer to that.
It wasn't a solid answer. I think it was alluded to more of him feeling. I think the answer that Gaia gave Gravik in the end, even though it was Gaia, I think that's pretty much what Nick Fury probably told her. Like I think he lost his sense of, he was the person that knew everything. He was the person that was on top of everything. And then after the blip, things kind of fell apart for him there.
So here's my problem with that. That's not Nick Fury. Like, Nick Fury's not going to run away from his problems.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
but
was
that like their excuse for making him the way he was? Because he said after the blip we didn't get the same Nick Fury back.
Yeah. Right, which I understand.
And so I don't feel like that.
But yeah, you don't get the same Nick Fury back. Fine, something you're gonna change a little bit, but that just seems really extreme to me. That you go off world for years when your main job was protecting the Earth. Like, do he run away from that?
Right,
I say so. He does, because
that just seems
he
like
knew something was coming, and he planned for that. Whenever it comes, they win, and they lost, including him. You got to think that up until this point, that even when they lost, he didn't. Well, so it's like,
still just seems so off script.
No, I'm gonna say that this is something that can change a character, and I think what they were doing was exploring that. And by the end of the episode, we get Nick Fury returning a bit.
But we didn't, because he left again. Which again,
well, that's because they needed him in Saber for the Captain.
But which then seems, I really feel like it's out of character. Like, I'm not like, yes, he can change, but to me, the world was at war. You lost. Then he ran away. That just seems out of character to me. Nick Fury's the kind of guy's like, he's gonna double down. And then after all of this happens, you felt like, okay, the Skrulls being here and all that is my fault. They win that fight, and then you leave again? There's still a problem here.
That's the whole point of Saber, though. But Saber is supposed to be preventing.
Is it though? Like, is
Saber's not
operating as Shield?
That's what I'm saying. You're saying that, but like, it doesn't make any sense, because if Saber was doing anything, Saber would have been in the show.
Yeah.
Right? He got allies.
But he's not part of Shield anymore.
If Saber would have been in the show.
Saber would have been in the show. If he got allies in space that can help him, why didn't they help him with the alien problem he had here on Earth?
Oh, man. All right. Sorry. Side. No, not about this at all. Sorry.
Yeah.
What if they had made Jimmy Woo a Skrull? Like,
that's so irrelevant.
He's so what? I bet you everybody would have loved that. And like, what? Because
this is relevant, because
they went crazy over him doing a card trick. Okay.
He has no power. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Why would you be Jimmy Woo?
Yeah, like, no one cares if random FBI agent is a Skrull.
Right. Everybody they replaced was some
okay,
person.
Fine.
They
should have had, like, the president be a Skrull.
Now, that would have been cool.
That's what I said.
I was anticipating that when they
but I knew he wasn't going to be one.
Maybe he's a Skrull.
I said at the very beginning it should have been the president.
Was it? And how Rhodey was acting with the president.
All right,
that's
hold on. How nobody pick up on? I'm like, Rhodey.
The way Rhodey was acting
is being real thirsty for a war.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I know it's not
World War III at that.
Right.
And it's like, I know this is fictional, but the type of position that he has, he doesn't have that much say with the president.
Unless he's the
an advisor.
No. There's a guy who be in the war room with the president. What's that guy?
I have no idea.
Department of Defense?
No. Isn't there? There's like a top line general guy that be with the president. So like when they be bombing people, he's in the room.
Yeah, there is. There is. Like in most movies, you got that guy.
That's who Rhodey was.
I can't remember what he was called.
That's probably his Rhodey position now.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I can't really.
He definitely doesn't write his speeches.
No, he should not.
He definitely he does not. No. No.
Yeah, that's not his job.
No, but I think there's a person, and I'm saying this based off of like that one episode of The West Wing I saw.
West Wing gives us all the information we need.
When they're in the war room or the strategy room or whatever.
Yeah, just like on Independence Day with that dude that was.
There's a general guy.
Like, Mr. President, I heavily advise
okay.
you. I got that guy.
Yeah, Rhodey's that guy, isn't he?
Okay,
I didn't think he was.
He might be that guy.
But he might be.
And I mean, everyone's
but the guy in Independence Day had all the medals and everything on him.
Yeah.
Rhodey didn't have anything on him.
Yeah, I thought the lady that was in there.
The lady that was in there that Rhodey was
the
talking kind of credit to.
I thought she was the one.
She was a general. She was a general.
So general's ahead of a colonel?
Yeah.
Yeah. General is number one.
I don't know how that
I
goes.
don't know.
I don't know military hierarchy like that, but I'm pretty sure the general is ahead of a colonel.
So could
but
Rhodey...
that sound off like general in general? Like that's what it sounds like to me. But
Rhodey could be in that position of head of her, couldn't he?
I guess I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
I figured maybe he just got up there because he's the war machine.
I feel like it's like, why is this dude so thirsty for World War III?
That would have been throwing red flags.
Yeah, why is that not like how he's been acting throughout the MCU movies? This is not Rhodey.
Exactly. Rhodey's always cautious.
Right.
So I looked up the hierarchy. If she was general, remember they kept on calling Rhodey colonel.
We said that already.
Right.
Like literally 2 seconds ago.
So she is ahead of him.
But what's her position? Not hierarchy in the military. What is her position
she was
in
a general.
in the U.S. government?
Oh, I don't.
So is that a different name?
I forgot what she said.
Yeah, because she will have to have a position in the U.S. government, not just that
everybody in that room had a position.
Yeah, not that just her ranking as general, but what is her position in the U.S. government?
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to see that episode again. And number 1 is lieutenant. So it's lieutenant, general, colonel.
Yeah, but that's different because it's like, what is your position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can have different positions. So he could have had that position. So that's fine. Okay. Either way.
So even though if she was a higher ranking officer in the military than him, he could have a higher ranking in the...
Well, depending on whatever his position is in the cabinet. Obviously, he was in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Which anybody can be. I mean, technically, you can just put Joe Schmo off the street in a certain position.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's how it was on House of Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's the guy in the room with them when they're doing war stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Apparently, he was also the guy who volunteered to fire Nick Fury.
Which was also red flags. Which you were right about. I was like, no, it got to be the president. Because to me, I thought like that hits harder if the president is a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a way to go. So there was a way for them to do this show with the limited. I get that you have the limited heroes, but we mentioned Sharon Carter, Maria Hill. You had the president of the United States. You could have thrown in there. There's more people that worked for Shield close to Nick Fury that we could have thrown in there as potential scrolls. Or if you wanted to throw a new person in, you can do that and just show the past with their relationship between Nick Fury and this person, and then it becomes a betrayal by the end, you know?
I think it was a huge mistake. Like, it was shocking. Like, oh, I don't believe they did that. But to kill Maria Hill in the first episode, like, it would have been better if she's by Nick's side 3 episodes in. And then she turns out to be a Skrull. Now you're like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But what I do think about is the fact, how many episodes was it?
6.
6 episodes. And how long were the episodes?
About the first ones were long, but then they end up being about 40, 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like as much as you have to work with. I feel like there's not a lot of time to fit in.
That's what I'm saying. They
everything. So they had to speed things up.
But that's one of the problems. You having to speed things up, you end up cutting things that could have made the show
really suspenseful. But I'm like, why does it have to end at episode 6? Like, why can't this be like 13. Multiple seasons? You know what I mean? Like,
also
even if you're gonna send the episodes down, give us multiple seasons and leave us on the cliffhanger on like episode 6.
But see, when you do that, you still need to have a full story told in those 6 episodes.
You can
do that though.
You can do that.
You can do that. Like just do it in pieces. Like we don't have to get this far in episode 6. You know what I mean? Yeah. Episode 6 could simply
not
be
the conclusion of Secret Invasion.
Exactly.
We need
episodes. You could end season 1 with Maria Hill as a Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, season finale. You're like, whoa.
Or like, remember that conversation that him and Talos had on the train?
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really, like, both of y'all are finding out on both sides what's going on. He didn't know that there were millions of Skrulls that were there on Earth. He was like, you lied to me about that. And Talos was telling him like, hey, you used us to do this, that, and the other, and then you just disappeared and left us here by ourselves to fend for ourselves. And this, that, and the other. So it's like, I feel like that could have been moved back a few episodes and used, to like fuel other episodes in the future, because that was a pretty deep conversation.
Right. Yeah. Because think about it. Next episode, we're friends again because now I need you. Just instantly, this is not a problem anymore. You went from, I don't know if I can trust you, to, hey man, you want to come say the president with me?
Which also, I kind of disagree with Nick on that anyway. Now, I get being upset that there's a covert million aliens on the planet. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's an issue.
But I don't think it was a reason for him to be like, I can't trust Talos. Like, did he withhold information from you? Yeah.
Yeah, but why?
From what we know about you and Talos, you knew you could trust Talos.
Right. Yeah. Like, he withheld it for a reason. It's like, okay, I get
But Nick
that.
was right. He's like, humans can't get along themselves. You think they're...
Millions of scrolls.
I would have a problem if there was like, all of a sudden, hey, there's a million aliens there. I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah. They're going to flip out.
That's an issue.
As long as they're, peaceful, it's fine to give them Madagascar or something. People live in Madagascar.
Yes, people live in
Madagascar. All right, so...
Okay.
I'm sorry. Everyone in Madagascar is mad at me now.
I'm like, what? Unfollow.
Oh, actually, I mean, you would have to convince Russia, but the land they had already,
just let them keep it.
They could have just kept it, right? They're resistant to radiation, so they could have taken all of that.
I never understood. Like, if you have this land, why are we building a proper city? Why are we living in the dirt?
Yeah, it's true. Why didn't they? Well, I guess they were trying to still be covert.
Yeah, if they would have started building, it would have been obvious.
Russia don't care about that land because they don't think they can go there.
Yeah, but it would have still been
seen you building something. They'd be like, "Wait a minute, what's going on?"
Take sovereign land from a nation.
Yeah, no. That's an instant issue.
Need all of that inhabitable land,
but they could have built it on the inside, though. I'm just saying, like, you could have went. Like outside, it still looks raggedy. On the inside, there's a whole city.
Also, I would think at some point
you can pick that up inside
in the Marvel universe at this point, right, where we've already let the Asgardians have a piece of Norway. Will people be yes, I get people are going to be prejudiced. Yes. But will people be as prejudiced as Nick Fury was pointing out? Because he was acting as if it's us here now, and then all of a sudden there were aliens. You gotta know, yes. People know aliens since 2012.
I say yes.
I say yes, and the reason is that the difference between them and Asgardians already look like humans on Earth. The Skrulls are green people.
Plus, they can look like.
I say
they could live. Yes,
there's trust issues there. There's trust issues.
Because like, okay, not only, but like they can look like anyone, take my memories, my powers if I got them, and I say because like you said, they look different. And then if the only thing humans know about aliens is being invaded. Right? Happens in Avengers, happens again in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, now you're telling me that there's aliens living with us?
And millions of them that we don't know who they are?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna be upset by it.
Yeah.
I
still say Mars. I don't understand why they ain't just
that's my other problem with this. Is like, I get Nick Fury, absolutely, he was using them as agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Y'all people can't find a telescope and go find your own planet? Like, I don't understand. He said he was going to...
Nick Fury said, like, oh, it was obvious that I wasn't going to find a planet for him. I still call BS on that. Because, again, like I said, Mars... I get, okay, Mars doesn't have dirt to grow food. But I'm pretty sure with the technology that we have now...
Well, aren't they supposed to be really smart or something?
Yeah, you probably like isolate.
And then you had Captain Marvel. She couldn't fly your ship over to Mars. I get it's really far away and probably no jump point or whatever they like to say.
How far did she fly that ship with Tony Stark on her? How far was that?
Yeah, he was in the middle. Yeah, I don't know where he was.
He was in the middle.
Well, my thing is
she flew that all the way back to her.
Could they not co-inhabitate with another alien planet? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, it's the same.
It would have been the same issue.
Yeah, it's different. But if you're blue people, you can get along with the green people.
They can still shapeshift in.
I looked at it as that the issue was they were looking for a planet that wasn't inhabited.
They go to Mercury and stop playing these games.
Again, okay, Mars is not inhabited. It's literally empty.
Neither are any of the other planets.
Wasn't even that planet?
I mean, well, that's all we got. It's just.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like you're trying to find planets like Earth.
Well,
because in the comic book world, every livable planet is like Earth.
Well, isn't Thanos' planet available?
Titan? Well, no, it was.
I thought it was destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, destroyed how?
Like nobody lived there anymore. I don't think you could. When
people first got there, it said it's off its axis, gravity's everywhere. That's why his race went extinct.
Yeah.
The Skrulls could live there. They're fine.
No.
I don't think they could.
I think they could.
No.
Side note, since we were talking about Thanos and we're talking about Skrulls, this is only comic book information, but I learned it and I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
So, the Skrulls in the... Is it the Skrulls in the Kree? Oh, no. So, you know how the Celestials make Eternals and Deviants, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Skrulls were the deviants of their race, and the deviants won on their planet. Thanos was also a deviant of his race, which is why they both have that little ridge thing on their chin. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So they deviants.
Yeah. Which not in the MCU, because deviants are like, I don't know, morphing, strange-looking animal, dinosaur things, whatever. Yeah. In the MCU for some reason.
Or maybe those were the deviants on Earth.
Movie. Remember that really boring movie? You probably don't remember because it was boring.
Yeah, it was very boring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Okay. So back to this show. I think another thing, we talked about Gravik for a little bit. I thought he was an interesting character, but then turned out to not be interesting.
Yeah, up into Marvel has a final episode problem.
Yep.
Because again, the final episode of this series to me was one of the weakest for the entire series. It was very interesting up until the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like you said, Gravik was very compelling. I think throughout the entire thing, I think he was intimidating. He was compelling until the end, until he just lost his freaking mind.
Yeah.
And
then it was just like, he was compelling, but there was never a true confrontation with Nick Fury, which I think is what we needed.
Yeah, and it just a confrontation with Nick Fury, and he couldn't have been. I don't know if you mentioned, while we were recording, but he couldn't have gone through the full Super Skrull thing, right? Also, Gaia, why did you? I get they were tricking him to think it was Nick Fury, but why did she give him the vial of all the Avengers DNA?
Yeah, you could have
just had the fight between you and him. You both. She was already a bit souped up anyway.
Yeah,
right?
You didn't have to give it to him. Like, you could have just fought him right then and there. And see another problem. And I know we're talking about all the things we don't like about the show, but it's like, what are you going to do with the Super Skrull now? Gaia is now the most powerful being in MCU now.
Yeah.
What are you going to... That's a problem. Like, why did you... If you wanted to start off with... Why not start off with baby powers?
Yeah, you literally...
You gave her all of the powers.
And the villains.
Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. And the villains.
Captain Marvel's powers in her blood? I don't know. Is it in her DNA? I don't know about that.
There's also that, but let's forget
everything is always in your blood.
Because wasn't the Abomination...
That's how She-Hulk became She-Hulk.
Yeah. Yes. It's literally everyone we ever had is now in her.
Yeah.
Like, why do we
every
start
villain,
off
every
like
superhero.
That? Because no one can beat her now. No. So what are we going to do with Gaia?
Yeah.
She's a problem.
She's a problem.
Yeah.
And so how are we going to address the problem?
How do you write out of that?
And when are we going to address this problem? Because now every show afterwards, are we just going to ignore this as they have been doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They create problems and then pretend like it doesn't happen in the next show.
Right. So you think they would write in somebody in the Marvels is going to have to take her down, or the Marvels as a whole
she loses her powers.
To take her down?
How?
Maybe it's not permanent.
Maybe it's not sustainable.
Yeah,
it's not sustainable. So like over time, they just get weaker and weaker and weaker.
We don't know how. That's such a cop out.
It's a cop out, but it's something you might need to do.
Yeah, they might have to use that.
If there's anything else that threatens the Earth,
all you got to do is call her.
Okay, Gaia, we don't even need the Avengers right now.
But at this point, can you even trust Gaia?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because like,
well, maybe that's it. She don't care about people, so maybe she's just not gonna fight.
Yeah. Okay, so then now she's a Super Skrull with all of the powers. Who in the MCU can take her out?
Now
she's not a bad guy, but she's also not a good guy. She just doesn't care.
That what my gripe was.
Then that's a waste of the Super Skrull
with Nick Fury. Now because it's like, now you go back to Saber, but it's like we don't address this whole issue with Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
That was my issue. I was like, we just left this alone. Mm-hmm. It's just like you gave her the harvest. Now she has all the abilities of the harvest, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm back to my space station.
You enjoy those.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I have a serious problem with him just like bye again. Like what the heck, Nick? You still have a problem here on Earth,
right? Big time problem. So
yeah.
I can't remember what her conversation was with old girl.
With Sonya?
Sonya, yeah. At the end, because she pulled up on her, and I'm like, I can't remember what they was talking about.
Basically, it's like you use me. Like basically, Sonya's like, I now have a superhero on my side.
Yeah.
And Gaia's just like, so you're gonna use me? She's like, well, you can use me for whatever you want too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Gaia's gonna be there to take down, because technically this didn't end the secret invasion. There's still millions of Skrulls.
Yeah, but now it's not.
They was going around assassinating Skrulls, but then you also had people just killing
humans because they thought
that they were.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
So that's an issue too.
That
he also just left alone.
Yeah, which again, that to me seemed completely out of character for. First of all, this. Well, whatever. That seemed completely out of character for this president. It's like all of a sudden, it's like he discovered a Skrull in his cabinet. I guess that's what Rhodey was. He gets murdered in front of him. Now the president is just like, we're going to kill you all. And I was just like, dude, where did that come from?
This speech, and like, so every off-road species is an enemy. And like we mentioned, so does that make New Asgard an enemy of the United States?
You already have off-world people here.
Yeah, and then I'm like, what about some of your heroes? The Guardians, most of them are off-world, so when they come to visit Earth, are they an enemy of the United States, right? Are we going to shoot Mantis? Because, like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't make sense. And like, why would you go that route? I don't know why it went that way. Because didn't we have a video of a Skrull saving the president's life? They showed it on the news, right? And then, while they're showing Talos breaking open the window to save the president, they're like, it seems like an alien was involved in the attack. And it was like, obviously not, because none of the military is shooting at this alien as they give him cover fire to break the president out of his car.
You have that, right? The president gets saved by a Skrull, right? It's just like, you already know they're not all bad. You already know that. So it just seems completely out there that he would just make this random announcement like that. That just sends the country and the rest of the world in an uproar. And then again, Marvel, what are you going to do about this? Because you just created a new issue in your universe. Like, is the next show going to address this now? Is people going around shooting everyone because they think they're Skrulls now?
Well, we got that. You got in Black Panther, the U.S. declared war against Wakanda or something, or Batu or whatever. Yeah. Like,
so you got that unsolved. But the next movie and show has nothing to do with it. You got the Marvels movie, and the next show
doesn't have anything to do with.
And you have Loki season 2.
Yeah.
Which is also not going to have anything to do with it.
So, Marvel keeps creating these issues and not solving a single problem.
No, unless they had this like ultimate plan.
I don't think they did with that. Some of this it's unnecessary to do. Right. And I think it's easier to tie your shows in if you don't do this. Don't have the president declare war against all aliens.
So unnecessary. Like, why?
Don't create a Super Skrull. I just thought about it. I mean, they have to fight the Super Skrull in the comics and the Avengers win. So if she goes bad, you just have the Avengers win. It's not,
Yeah, but do we need to create... I'm saying this, you can...
But she's like the ultimate Super
Exactly.
Skrull.
Like, you could throw the idea out there. But you created the ultimate Super Skrull in this show.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Also, a 6-episode series is not long enough for you to be doing that.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm like, we didn't have to end it here. Like, okay, let's say they found out about the Skrulls.
Yeah.
We got this Super Skrull. Okay, now we know what our issue is. We got Skrulls in our cabinet.
Yeah.
This is the problem that we have now. So now you can move forward. You can create more episodes about dealing with this problem. The invasion ain't over yet, like we said.
Yeah.
Still millions of them here. Now you got episodes centered around how are we gonna solve this issue?
Yeah, finding the Skrulls in their positions around the planet. What are they doing? What are they planning?
In an organized way.
Yeah, which I feel like is something that the U.S. government would want to do, is to say, okay, we need to hunt these people down and get them out secretly. Yeah. First of all, you act like you don't know this is America.
A secret covert.
Exactly.
Right. Like, you could have had it where he met with a few members on his cabinet and be like, hey, we're going to start this new division. And this division is strictly to hunt down the scrolls.
Yes.
Because it'd be like, do you see how close a scroll got to me?
Kind of like what they got with Sonya. What Sonya's doing, basically.
Yeah.
Sonya cold too.
I was gonna say that Sonya is cold.
Like her character.
I liked her a lot.
We need more of this. She was just like, she was relentless, man. I'm like, we need more of her. But yeah, that would have been dope though. Like she's starting this whole thing. Hey, look, we about to find these scrolls. It's gonna be a covert thing. If she want to use Gaia for it, and they can leave Gaia like kind of indifferent, like, you know, I kind of want to do it, but I kind of don't. We still don't know if we can trust her.
Nerf Gaia, because I was just thinking I would love to see a show about Sonya, right? But even if you do that and you got Gaia as her right hand man, so okay, if we find scrolls, then what's the problem? Gaia just comes in and takes them out.
Destroys them.
Like, it's a Superman issue, which is why you don't use Captain Marvel, right? Like when you have a character that's too strong, it's not compelling to watch. Which is why Captain Marvel is going to be nerfed in her next movie, right? Because you gotta
you gotta depower
her.
Because there's no one on the Kree that can defeat her.
That's always an issue. You have to have a weakness for him. Like Superman has kryptonite. You have to have a weakness for the superhero, or else every movie gonna be easy. Every movie they gonna be Vin Diesel and everything.
But I hope they just be like, oh, it doesn't last or something like that.
They're gonna have to do something because there's nothing they can do with her.
Like one time she ended up fighting and she can't call on all these
all her
superpowers.
power,
She's like,
and she took out,
and she don't know why.
What's the name?
You could say like they didn't complete the chamber that gave them the power, so
it's
just like
it's dumb. You shouldn't have done it in the first place.
They shouldn't have done it. Or like start off with little baby powers, you know, like, oh, she has the power of Cyclops and Captain America, and that's it. No one else.
It was fine when
you gave her all of the powers.
Power and well, that's the only two they showed. But it was fine when it was that, because it's like you're still stronger than everybody else around you.
Yeah, but at least you're like, well,
you can be beat though.
Exactly.
So. But when they was fighting, it was like they just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger until she blew his belly out.
Exactly. So it was like, who's going to use their power smarter?
Yeah, and that's
what it boiled down to.
That's why she won, because he was only using the brute strength powers, and she used it smartly.
She put him to sleep.
Ghosts. Again, is Ghost's power built in her DNA? Whatever. Because some of it's like, all right, I thought the one guy that worked for Thanos, you know, like
Ebony Maw.
I'm like, I don't think his power was part of his DNA.
Well, then my question is then how do they like blend this all into one small little vial?
That
doesn't make sense either. I was like, how did y'all do
this? In one vial.
In one vial, you got all of these people DNA. Then what you want to do? Extract it later?
Yeah, and see, that's the one thing that in the comic books, it's like, okay, Super Skrull was the first one that they knew about. Of them doing experiments on Skrulls. Skrulls doing experiments on themselves to be able to make themselves more powerful, to not only just take over the Earth, but also to defeat the Kree. So it was like, okay, originally it was just the Fantastic Four power. Then it's like when Secret Invasion happened, it found out that they made more Super Skrulls, but it was like they only had a couple of people powers at a time. Like it wasn't like, oh, this Super Skrull had all the Avenger powers. This one had all the X-Men powers.
I think they only had like 3 or 4.
It's 3 or 4 at a time.
Like, okay, we can't hold all these powers. Like, if we have all these powers, it's too much for it. Eventually it's going to diminish.
Maybe it's like her body can't hold all those powers, so it kind of downgraded.
Well, because I was thinking, like, what I know about this, like, I only know about the Super Skrulls, like, when it had all of the Fantastic Four powers. And to me, that is something I would have liked to have seen in the Fantastic Four movie. But now, since you already gave us the Super Duper Skrull, anything less than that is not as interesting anymore. So it was just like, if you start off something small and then build up how in the Fantastic Four movie we now have the Skrull with you guys' power, that's interesting now. Like you watch the Skrulls become stronger and stronger.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. But now in the show that really, I mean, the show means nothing. You introduce this superpower character. Just why?
I agree. Yeah. Like I said, to me, it just all feels rushed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Like you didn't have to.
I think they need to change their model. Like, you start doing 13-episode show. When you're talking about a TV show, I think part of the issue with the Marvel shows is that you're basically doing a movie plot over 6 episodes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when you have a TV show, you don't need to have that rushed plot, right? Mm-hmm. TV shows work because you get to flesh out the characters more. Right, you have time to flesh out your characters, which is why people love Daredevil and stuff. Like, you have time to build it. Did we have a few, episodes where it's like, oh, okay, this didn't really do anything? Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. But if you have a 13-episode season, I think it's a good amount.
Because you got 13 episodes, and if there's only 2 episodes I wasn't really feeling.
Yeah, it's probably going to be episodes like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true with everything. But, like, that makes sense. Like, if this show had 6 more episodes, then everything we're talking about, everything we're complaining was like, well, that felt rushed. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't feel less rushed.
Because you could spread it out. Yeah. And, like, dive into some more of your details. Like, they have a lot to work with. You got millions of Skrulls on Earth. Yeah. That you didn't know about. So now this is basically a new problem for you.
Yeah.
And him and Talos?
Yeah.
Talos. Yeah. Him and Talos is having issues now.
Yeah.
So the trust issue is starting to get pretty flimsy.
But that and Talos felt very weak in this show.
Yeah.
He did. But they had said it was like, you're not the general that you used to be.
Well, you know what? At some point, someone has to be who they used to be.
Yeah, I'll say everybody in this show ain't who they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what made me think that they was about to get rid of him
in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I get the shock factor of it, and like it worked, but
I felt like you needed because if you didn't have Maria Hill, then you call an Agent 13 and say, "Hey, I need your help." Mm-hmm. I was just like, there's just no one that Nick Fury can turn to. There's no one on Saber that can help him. Honestly, I was expecting to get some sword agents up in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could have did that. You could have did the idiot from WandaVision as the leader of Sword. He could have been a Skrull. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's like you could do anything basically with these Skrulls.
Yeah.
But since you rushed it into 6 episodes, you wasted it basically.
Yeah.
So.
They did.
Yeah. When I looked up the Super Skrull, it's like they only have a maximum of 4.
So why would you deviate from that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that they should have
literally everyone.
Yeah, that doesn't. Why would you do that?
Yeah, because it was like in the Secret Invasion storyline, the 3 main Skrulls was of course the one that we know about with the Fantastic Four powers. Then it was one with Colossus, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine powers. Mm-hmm. And then it was one with Black Panther, Quicksilver, Vision, and Valkyrie.
Ooh.
Quicksilver.
We have all those characters.
We do.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like you could have did that.
For the Super Skrull, yeah. You could have
or just anybody that has been seen in the MCU.
Since it makes 0 sense for DNA to all just be in one vial, you could have had it where, like, instead of Nick Fury just giving it up, Gravik was able to find 4 of the bits. Like, we know Nick Fury took everyone's DNA, and Gravik was able to find 4 of them. Maybe we stopped him from getting the other ones throughout this episode.
Like, there's more vials.
Yeah. And he just, like, goes with it and go, okay, well, I'm going to use these 4, and he gets 4 power. Like, you could have done that.
Yeah, I don't know why would you deviate from something like that.
Because making a character that powerful, like, it is a real problem.
You boxed yourself into a corner.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if it was supposed to be some kind of surprise tactic or wild tactic, but it's like when I seen it, I was just like, nah, that's too much.
That was way too much.
Yeah. Especially for like this type of show. Like if it was a movie, I'd be like, all right, this is stupid. But then I would have been like, well, he has to learn how to do the power. So since it's like, you can kind of do that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
they used every power as if they'd used it before.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Even the superheroes themselves didn't know how to use
their powers. Yeah. I was like, they use them powers better than the superheroes.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. The vial doesn't come with knowledge of using the powers too. Like, come on. Like it was, there's a lot of opportunity wasted there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Show facts.
Random. Oh, yes, right. Not a movie. Never mind.
Random show
random
facts.
TV show facts.
I actually don't have any for this show. So.
I'm pretty sure we mentioned on our nitpicks.
I think we only mentioned our nitpicks.
What else are we going to talk about?
What we liked about the show?
I did mention what I liked about the show.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm sure, maybe.
I said it was an interesting watch. It was one of the few shows that I...
he did mention that.
Episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first sentence before we nitpicked the rest of it.
Before we destroyed it? Oh, okay.
Before we destroyed
That's what we do here, okay?
That is not what we do here. But occasionally we will,
I mean, we have a few shows and movies where we reviewed and tore it up and be like, it's a good show. You should watch it.
Yeah, man. Definitely best movie ever.
Yeah, I know. I was going to mention we did that with The Lost World. We the entire review. It deserved it, but I enjoy watching it.
No, I think this deserves all the nitpicks that we gave it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so we can rate it. I'm going to go with the Watch by Folding Clothes only because of the nitpicks that it has. I think it's a very interesting show. I think you should watch it, not while folding clothes, actually, but because of the drawbacks it has, especially at the end. Like, the ending of the show does pull the show back, I think. Mm-hmm. You have the issues with having such a strong character left over, the issues with not having Nick Fury face the villain when he's definitely the main character, right? We weren't following Gaia. I guess it would have been better if we were following Gaia this whole time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It would have been better. But we weren't. We were following Nick Fury, and he didn't have the final showdown. So you don't have that closure. There's a lot of things holding the show back, which it draws it down. So this is why I give it a Watch by Folding Clothes. For new people, that is a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, you think about it, like, Nick Fury, he had closure with his wife, which, by the way, don't care about.
My wife was saying the same thing. She said, I didn't care about it. I was like, I didn't find it that bad. And she was like, I don't care about this.
I don't find it bad, but, like, I don't care about their relationship.
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to give us bits and pieces to see, like, how they grew over time. Mm-hmm. I don't care if Nick Fury has a family. Not my concern. I don't care if his wife hates him. Not my concern. And honestly, you a good one because you keep leaving me behind. Bro, we done.
Yeah.
Well, she's a scroll, so I guess maybe she understood.
I got him. So,
maybe they're different.
For everything reason that Darren, I was on the fence about this because honestly, I could watch the show again.
Yeah, I
can watch it again.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be some small parts that I could have missed.
And it started off strong, but it did get weaker as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm gonna have to give it a watch while folding clothes because I think I don't call it the negative outweighs the positive because I don't dislike the show.
I wouldn't say outweighs. I think the show has some good quality in it. And I think just those nitpicks that we talked about actually do pull the quality of the show down. It's not a 1 star as we've been seeing a lot of people doing reviews on it. I don't think these are issues we mentioned, but I don't think it's like
the average is like 6.5 out of 10, which apparently makes it the lowest rated MCU show, which says to me, you guys are overrating.
This is the lowest rated MCU show?
Yeah, apparently.
Have they seen She-Hulk?
So my thing is that you're overrating the other shows because this is better than She-Hulk, this is better than Ms. Marvel, and this is better than Moon Knight.
And I liked Ms. Marvel. I liked Ms. Marvel.
I liked Moon Knight.
I didn't like Moon Knight.
I like Moon Knight.
And I do think it's better than Ms. Marvel and it's better than Moon Knight. I think it is a better show than those two.
Yeah. So I mean, from what I read, they said this is the worst rated one, but it seems to get about a 6.5 out of 10, which to me isn't. I could see that.
Okay. I mean, I just didn't get it a 2 out of 5. So
I think if someone's giving those other shows, like Ms. Marvel's, it's a 5. She-Hulk is
I'm gonna give Ms. Marvel a 5.
Ms. Marvel's a 5. She-Hulk is a 0.
Wow.
She-Hulk is a 0. No, there's nothing redeeming about that show.
No.
The entire show's bad.
I defended the first episode, and as it went on, I take everything good about it. I said that.
It was so sad because I was getting on the haters of the show for hating on it because they were being sexist, and then the show just turned out to not be good, which
Okay, well, you know, being sexist is not okay, whether the show's good or bad.
Yeah.
So I back that. But the show itself, no.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ratings and
that's not fair.
They have it. It's no. I have been to 3 different sites of it being rated.
It's definitely better than the last 3 shows we've gotten.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I said, I think each episode was compelling. I actually was looking forward to Secret Invasion coming out.
I watched it every Wednesday.
Yeah. So, I was looking forward to it coming out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I get it a wash while folding clothes as well. I'm kind of on the high end with it. I'm just wild at these ratings that I'm looking at. Yeah. But it's down there with Iron Fist and Indian.
Oh, come on.
No, absolutely. Like, you guys are being ridiculous. Dan, what is your rating?
It's definitely Wild Folding Clothes. Cause, you know, but like Derek said, on the higher end. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cause like when I'm watching it, I'm watching it.
Watch Our Folding Clothes can be a 7 out of 10, by the way, people.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
or a 3 out of 5. 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a bad rating.
Yeah, no. I mean, come on. Iron Fist? I wanted to punch myself in the face after watching that.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
My name's Danny Rand.
I'm like, wow.
I am the immortal Iron Fist.
Like, that is...
I was like, to have it down that low?
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely not.
Also, I get that people will disagree with this, but I can't... And again, even though I liked Miss Marvel, I don't think it's 5 out of 10. Jeez, I think it's in the 6s. But this is definitely better than Miss Marvel.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got Miss Marvel high.
No, absolutely not. Honestly, I watched the first episode and the last episode, and that's all I needed to see.
They got Miss Marvel ahead of the Punisher.
What?
Sorry, what?
Yes.
Okay. You just don't even tell me anymore because no,
you can't go by ratings at all.
Like, no, you can't.
You
just said that this means nothing at all because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Wow. This is from Screen Rant for fans that are listening. Screen Rant, Complex.
Just absolutely not.
I'm looking forward to seeing Miss Marvel's character in the Marvels.
I mean, I am.
I'm looking forward to it.
But it ain't better than the Punisher.
No,
there's no
absolutely
way.
not.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like I can like the character, but while telling the truth.
Yeah, it's I think this is getting a little bit of hate it doesn't deserve. Like if you guys, when you listen to this podcast, you'll see if people have valid reasons for dislike, you don't have to like the show if you don't like the show. But also have a valid reason to it. And I think we bring up all the points that drags the show down, but at the same time, I think it can still be entertaining while having a bunch of faults.
Yeah. I thought the action in the show was entertaining. I thought when they kept going Winter Soldier for a bunch of different stuff in Marvel, and I think they finally went back to a spy type show, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, because we didn't get that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we didn't get that in Black Widow.
Definitely
not Black Widow.
Wait, no.
Yeah. So it was just like I was happy for the fact that we're getting an actual spy show, and despite all of the nitpicks that we had about the show, it was a spy show throughout. Mm-hmm. Even if we didn't like how the plots ended up and her getting, but like, for Gaia to be Nick Fury at the end, like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Nick Fury.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because I said from the very beginning, Nick Fury cannot fight a Skrull.
Right. Yeah.
So if this is the
Nick
Super
Fury
Skrull,
kept on
Nick
being
Fury
in multiple places too quickly.
Well, they were trying to make it seem like he wasn't really at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, clearly he's, you know what I mean? Because they never showed it, but Sonya calls and says, Nick Fury is here and he's coming after you. Mm-hmm. But they don't never show who's the one doing all the attacking.
Right.
I'm like, well, that has to be Nick Fury because Nick Fury can't fight a Skrull.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was another problem.
Well, my thought would be give yourself the harvest that would be able to defeat that.
That would have been
that's worse than what we got.
What do you mean, Nick Fury taking the harvest?
Yeah. No. But then it's like, it doesn't stick.
Bring in LMDs.
That is when you bring in LMDs.
Life model decoys.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was a really good season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It was a good season of Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
and unfortunately, that was ranked the #1 show.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm. Out of all of the shows we've gotten,
is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1?
They said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., WandaVision, Daredevil.
Daredevil. Come on.
Because I was saying, were they not ranking the Netflix shows? But they were.
They were, because Iron Fist was on the list.
They said Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than Daredevil.
Yeah, they said Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is #1.
No, absolutely
not.
Why
they're bringing Daredevil
WandaVision
back.
was #2. And then Daredevil.
No. Nope.
They said WandaVision was better than Daredevil?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Did they happen to rank Luke Cage?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. It's only the first half of the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Luke
the third
Cage
season.
Full seasons.
Well, there wasn't a third season.
There was only
right.
2.
There was only 2.
Because I kind of left it like...
Both seasons for me, Luke Cage fell off at
the
midway point.
Yeah, the midway point.
It was always compelling until the halfway point.
Yeah.
I was like, I like the character though.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Like if
I wish Cottonmouth didn't get killed.
Yeah.
Maybe they also include in Daredevil season.
It don't matter. It was still better.
3 was good. 2 wasn't that
2
great.
was horrible.
Well, it doesn't matter because either way, it's still better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Loki, and I would agree. If we got Luke Cage back, that would be dope. Because that would be dope.
Because the way they left it, I'm like, I would like to see what happens after. Because he took over the club.
Yeah, he took over the club.
I'm like, I would like to see what happens after that.
Yeah.
But I do wish Cottonmouth would have stuck around.
Yes.
And, was it Bushmaker?
Yeah.
Bushmaster.
Bushmaster.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Bushmaker. It sounds like a... So, I mean, never mind.
Yeah.
Them called me Bushmaster. Yeah, he was cool. I like him. And then, what was it? Who was the girl? Oh,
isn't he in Power?
For a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff. Always played the same type of person.
Isn't he the same character in Power?
Yeah, he always plays the same type of person.
So our ranking is Watch While Folding Clothes.
Yeah. That's our thoughts on Secret Invasion. What did you think? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. And of course, check us out in the next one.